This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, good evening. This is Suresh here.
Good evening, Suresh.
Good evening, Suresh.
Good evening,
Good evening,
Suresh.
guys. Good evening, one and all.
Hi, Suresh.
Hi, Srini. Everyone, good evening. So, guys, in our last session, we have been discussing about the last topic as regarding the org chat. So, we started knowing about the printed instance system deep into the navigations. So, where we have been looking into the org chat of the employees based on the employee data relationship, that the way how we maintain in the employee central system for every employee record, the way how you maintain the HR or the manager. So that is how the relationships normally build. So this org chart is totally based on the employee manager relationship, guys. Against every employee record, whomever you maintain the manager, accordingly that relationship gets displayed here. Okay, so we actually don't have any specific configuration for this. It's just the permission whether the org chart access to be given to this employee or not, that has to be decided. So all based on the employee data that you load, this org chart gets generated totally. Okay, so this is about the employee org chart that we saw in our yesterday session as well. And moving on to the next one, the position org chart. So this position org chart is basically regarding the positions in the company, guys. So right from the CEO position till the bottom clerk level position in the company, all the positions in the company will have the hierarchy same like the employees. So every position reports to some senior, some higher level position. So that position based relationship generates this position org chart, guys. Okay, this maintenance manager is the position where it has all these subordinate positions. So for every position, who is the current holder, it also displays that who is the current person that is occupying all these positions. It clearly mentions all the details. Okay, so this position hierarchy is built totally based on the position objects that we create as a part of the employee central position management, which we see in our employee central content at the end of the EC training. The position management concept comes up. So there, the way how you create each and every position in the company, and for every position you have to maintain what is the parent position. A manager reports to a senior manager. A senior manager reports to an associate director to a senior director. Like that, you will have different relationship between every position. Okay, so based on that, this hierarchy gets totally generated. But you might be having a question with respect to what is the difference between the normal org chart and the position org chart. We already have all the employees with the employee name and his job title. Under that guy, who are the other people, and for them what are the job titles you already have in the org chart. So why is this specific position org chart again given based on the job titles, position titles? Is that every time the position org chart and the employee org chart need not be the same, guys. Am I right? The position org chart and the employee org chart need not be the same, because say if you take the real-time scenarios in any company, say example you have a secretary for a CEO. The secretary of a CEO will be directly reporting to the CEO. So in the secretary's employment record, the reporting manager will be maintains the CEO name directly. She will be reporting to CEO every day. But when it comes to the position level hierarchy, the secretary normally will be given a designation at assistant manager, manager, general manager range of a designation. So normally in the position org chart, below the CEO, it will be vice presidents, presidents, directors, associate directors, that range of people, not general managers, assistant managers and all. So this assistant manager designation might be 6 or 7 levels down the line after CEO. So the secretary, whoever is he or she, their position will be the manager, assistant manager kind of, which is at 6 or 7 lines down the line. Whereas when it comes to the direct reporting, he or her reports to the CEO directly. So reporting relationship and the position org chart level, it is a difference. Okay, so you cannot every time say that all the position titles hierarchy will be same as employee hierarchy. It need not be. So that is why we have a position org chart separately. Okay, and from this position org chart, you also have a lot of details like for every position, it displays the current holder who is occupying that position. And if any position is not occupied with any person, it shows this to be hired indicator, guys. So this to be hide indicator suggests that this position is vacant. Okay, you can hire some people against this position, to be hide indicator. So from here you can start actually by clicking on this icon. Here clicking on the show menu, you will have an option to create job requisition. So that is, it is directly integrated with the position with the recruitment management system, such that directly the job requirement against this job will be created in the system. So this is how the position management integration with recruitment happens, which we see in our later sessions. Okay, so this is a high level about the position org chart. So deep under this, what are the various options that we have against every position? What are all this under menu options, various things on all, and as a part of position management, we'll be looking at, guys. And then going on to the company structure overview. So this third one, company structure overview, is totally dependent on hierarchy of the organization. That is the organizational structure. It's not the org chart, it's organizational structure. So org structure is like the company. Under the company, what are the different business units that they have? Under business units, what are the divisions, departments, cost centers, locations, all that. The hierarchy of a company, the structure of a company is all under the company structure overview that you can look at. So we can actually have multiple structural views here. Say legal view is all about legal entity level. So how many legal entities are there? Which legal entity reports to which entity? All that hierarchy related data will be like this. So under this best run as a legal entity, it says there are 16 cost centers. All this in each cost center. For each cost center, it says what is the cost center name, whether it is active or not, how many positions are present in that cost center, how many employees are present in that cost center, all the details. Like that, if you want to see the cost center view, you will have a different view. So again, these are all the different cost centers that we have, and every cost center level, what are the employees, and what is the cost center reports to which legal entity, all this. Or else if you want to have a view at business view, that is the business unit level. So I can choose the department, business unit, any of those. So we have different departments and you can choose where every department falls under which legal entity and all. That data will be also shown if you click on up arrow. So some parent entities failing here. Or some data is inconsistency. Normally that org structure level. So against one company. So whenever you say legal entity, guys, normally legal entity is the company. Legal view or legal entity is a company. In SuccessFactors, they call a company as legal entity. So that company structure can be seen under the company structure overview. And then the fourth one called directory tab. So this directory is the one which works as a telephone directory, kind of the way how you have all the employees details that can be found here. So you can search with the keywords of any employee and click on search, or you also have some particular search options where you have this first name, last name, middle name, the employee department, location, employee ID, all these various fields based on which you can search for anyone in the organization. Or else just clicking on search without giving any inputs, it results all the active employees in the company. It says there are 1090 active employees in this current system. Even later also you can still drill down your search based on the departments, divisions, locations, all these filters. Okay, so any employee's profile, if you want to look at their data, just click on this icon against the employee name and clicking on the employee title here, that will take to that employee's profile. So anytime clicking on this icon against a name, guys, it shows you the basic talent card with the employee's name, his username, contact details like phone number, email address, designation, location, the reporting manager, the team size of that employee, like how many subordinates under that employee, all that will be shown at a basic level. If you want to deep dive into their profile, you can just click on that hyperlink of the name, that will take you to that particular employee's profile. Okay, so this way you have the directory tab. So these are the four important tabs that we have to look at under the org chart. Under this org chart, these are the four different tools that we have to understand at this initial navigations. And of course, the employee file is nothing but the profile of every employee. So here we have the profile of every employee with various sections of information. So all these are the various sections, guys. Employment information, compensation information, payroll, various sections. So for any employee, whatever as the data that has been stored in this system, stored in that company's HR system can be seen here. That might be his personal details, his employment specific details, salary details, all that. So like this, we can have multiple blocks of information, guys. So personal information, national IDs, biographical, emergency contacts, primary emergency contacts, address, dependents, various blocks. Okay, so all these are actually referred as portlets, guys. Portlets. Let me just show you. So one second. So normally we spell it as portlet, P-O-R-T-L-E-T. Portlets. So each and every block, what you see here is a portlet. Dependents portlet, payment information portlet, position information portlet, like that. All these are the different portlets. So each and every portlet will store some quantity of information, some category of information. Okay, so there are a lot of portlets that will help us to store a lot of employees' personal details, employees' employment details, various things. Okay, apart from this, if your customer wants to store few more additional informations, okay, few more areas of information, if your customer really wants to store, definitely we can add additional portlets onto this profile. So we can add some additional blocks where we can store some new information that customer wants to store. So that is definitely doable. We don't have any restriction on it. So that is how you can actually look at this profile with a lot of details here, guys. So this profile is a page where, as a part of Employee Central, we maintain a lot of data on these screens later on. So normally, whoever logs in and they click onto this employee file, their own profile will open up. Login you are, their profile will open up. Now, if you want to look at any others, you can use this top search area. So just by typing the name of any employee, you can search for anyone in the company.
And Suresh, where do we add any additional portlet?
So that is a part of Employee Central configurations. So once we are into the EC configurations, we'll have that topic.
Okay, thanks.
So this session level, I'm just introducing you the different areas of SuccessFactors screens, navigation, terminologies, where you find what areas. I'm letting you know because by this weekend or by Monday, you guys will be receiving system access. So it is important that you guys know the minimum navigations, where to go, what to touch and all. So that's why I'm just making sure you guys have the minimum knowledge of navigating on the system. Okay, and so this is all about the profile level navigation, and of course the last one is the admin center. One more important that we should be aware of: every consultant will be working major of their project time or through the screen, because all the configuration options are listed under through this all these blocks in the screen. So if you want to work on goal management configurations, performance management, compensation, recruitment, any module specific options are well segregated here. And the main thing to be known here is the upgrade center, guys. So as I told you guys, SuccessFactors comes up with every quarterly updates. So the way how in your mobile app you go to your Google Play Store or the Apple App Store to see the list of new updates, new mobile updates, go through the documentation, and if you are okay with that, you'll click on install button, upgrade button. So normally these days we are not looking at what is the content of that upgrade. Normally in the mobile apps also they give you the Play Store, they give you the content. What is this new update going to bring in your mobile? Okay, similarly, when you go under this upgrade center, you will find the list of various updates that SF has released across multiple modules, and any upgrade that you select, it gives you some information about it. So these are all modules related. They are again categorized into important, recommended, and optional. So here you have the filter. If you want to see employee central related, you can filter like that. Only performance related, only compensation related, anything, you can just filter it. So those upgrades which are already performed, they just come as tick mark. They are already completed. So under EC, these are all that. Okay. So whichever upgrade you want to do, you just have to click on the learn more and upgrade, guys, where they give you some description about that upgrade on the right hand side here. So what actually that upgrade brings into your system, there'll be a clear description, and some note is now all about the prerequisites that you have to make sure before you are going to upgrade. All these minimum things are handled, and if possible, for few of the upgrades, they also give you a small demonstration media here. That's the video here. Okay, small 30 seconds, 60 seconds, small video content that will help you to understand how this new screen looks like or the new functionality brings upon. They display there. Okay, so for it's not mandatory for every updates. For few updates they are free. So reading through this, if you are okay, you can click on upgrade now button at the bottom. Okay, so as simple as that. Once you click on upgrade, that's it. You need not wait for anything. You can just go back to some other screen. You can parallelly keep working. In the background, this upgrades keeps updating in your system. Once the upgrade is done, you will be receiving an email in your email address in your mailbox. So then once you log out and log in back, that upgrade related features you can start looking, you can start experiencing it. You just have to log out and log in back for that new updates to be reflecting on your screen. That's it. As simple as that, guys. So you just have to go to the upgrade center, filter your module specific upgrades. So from the admin center, you will get the upgrade center. Click on it, and here you have the various.
Suresh,
Yeah.
while this upgrade is happening, we don't need to keep the system login, right? So we can also log out.
Yeah. See, obviously, any upgrade will not take more than 2-3 minutes actually. So even if you log out or log in, it doesn't matter. So just you click on upgrade button, you get logged out immediately. After 5 minutes, you log in, you will see the upgrade already done. It all runs in the background.
Okay.
Yeah. And these upgrades doesn't require any system downtime, nothing, guys. Okay, so normally once in a quarter when SuccessFactors releases the upgrades, okay, so those upgrades are totally of two types: universal upgrades and admin opt upgrades. Admin opt. So universal upgrades are automatically installed. They don't require any customer's permission. So that is like the look and feel of the SF system to be changed, some new screens coming in, some beautification related, new features coming in, so small UI related features. That thing they do as a universal upgrades without any customers approvals, nothing. But when it comes to process related, okay, any scenarios related things, those just list down here where admin has to opt it, whether they want to have it or don't want it, they just have to opt it. So universal and admin opt are the two categories of upgrades that we see. So first thing is already activated by the system, where once in a quarter, sometimes in the weekends, in the late night hours, they run those upgrades, guys. So that at that systems at that time, so if it is required, they prior announce the downtime of the system, and they down it for around 4-5 hours maximum in the midnight late hours. Okay, so that is how the upgrades from the SuccessFactors end will function when they are deploying the entire upgrades at a time into the customer systems. Maximum 4-5 hours. That too, they keep updating you about that downtime prior from 1 month. Prior from 1 month, the customer will be receiving an email saying that there is a planned maintenance happening on the system. Okay, so in the weekends, in the late night hours, they plan that activities. But for the upgrades, what we do one by one, for that, no downtime is required. System immediately gets updated in few minutes. So that is how the upgrade center works. And whenever you come here, guys, you also have an option to see the previously completed upgrades. You click on view recently completed upgrades. Here the list comes up, what all upgrades that are performed in this SuccessFactors system across years, last 5 years, 6 years, many years across years. So what are the upgrades that you have done? 2015, 16, 17, 18, multiple years. Okay, so any upgrade will have an option to revert it back. Okay, you will have an option to revert any upgrade back for a period of 30 days, guys. So if you click here, you just click to see on this undo button. So it says hide button is, sir, undo action is not allowed more than 30 days. So this is upgraded in 2018. So it's no more, it's already more than a year or 1.5 years. So it says you cannot undo it. Normally within 30 days, when you do an upgrade, within 30 days, you will get this undo button as active, and clicking on it will revert the changes back. So normally if an administrator activated it, but if the end users are not too happy with it, they like the old feature itself, they want to remove this and all, then they can undo within 30 days. After 30 days, still they can do, but they cannot directly do. They have to depend on the support teams, where support team has to deactivate it from the backend provisioning system. From the backend provisioning system, some technical guy has to get the access and they have to do it. A normal end user can do it only within 30 days. Okay, so this is how all the upgrades will be listed and you can undo. Okay.
Suresh, so
Yeah.
admin don't have access to revert back these changes from the company perspective. Admin don't have this access.
I know. I don't understand. What is your question?
So from the company perspective, if each admin has the SAP this thing, right? So if they can't able to do revert back these changes, every time they need to depend.
30 days they can do. Beyond 30 days they cannot do. Up to 30 days they can back. Beyond that they cannot.
Okay,
They
got it.
reach out to the support team.
Okay.
Okay, support team can do it from the backend provisioning system. The provisioning level, we'll have all the activations. I told you, right? In the provisioning system,
Yes,
we
yes.
all have all the checkboxes activations. So normally, whenever we upgrade something, guys, here, system will have some dependent checkboxes updated in the provisioning system. Because a customer don't have a provisioning access, clicking on this upgrade buttons here in the instance side, system will automatically check those checkboxes in the provisioning system. So, but if you lose the 30 days of time, then it is the consultant who has to go manually into that provisioning system and uncheck the checkbox dependent on this feature, like that. So for every upgrade, there will be some checkbox in the background.
Okay,
So
Suresh.
that's about the upgrade center.
Suresh, I have one query here. Regarding you told that there is a universal mandatory updates as well as and in the admin upgrade center there are another option also optional upgrade mandatory updates. So
Yeah,
mandatory optional updates for all the clients or else for particular clients.
nothing. Universal. The upgrades are common for everyone. It is not customer specific or module specific or anything. So the upgrades will be applicable for every customer across the globe.
But there is an optional upgrade, mandatory upgrades are there now. That is also universally it was updated by success factors.
Yeah, I'm not understanding. Where are you guys confusing? There are two types. Few will be auto installed, few will be in the choice of the administrator. Those universal upgrades will be automatically applied for every customer. No customer is an excuse. No customer can say no to that. Automatically they'll be installed, and the next day morning when I come and see, that new feature will start appearing on my system, which is a universal thing. Second one is the admin opt. Say out of say 100 of the features that they are going to release, 50 might be universal. They are automatically installed. Remaining 50, the company has to choose whether these 50 are required to me, or only one is required, or 10 are required, or 20 are required. Which are they require, they go and click on upgrade button through this upgrade center. That's it. Okay, out of 50 are optional. If I choose 20, remaining 30 are useless. I'm not going to use in my system. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Any question? So that is how the upgrade center works, guys. It's as simple as that, where we as a consultants, once we start the project, say in the month of June, if our go live is in the month of February, so in this period of 6 to 8 months, what are the updates that are coming in between these 6 to 8 months in the quarterly? Those upgrades we do on behalf of the customer. So based on the good features, whether this will be good for them or not, we decide and we upgrade that features and we give it by the time of go live. After the go live, it is the customer side administrators, whoever are nominated to handle the system, they have to take the decisions. So we don't normally go to the upgrade center. Once the project is done, it is their responsibility to decide which features they want, which they don't want. Okay. And Yeah, of course, in this admin center itself, at the bottom, you have the place for working on the permissions for the users, hiring the new employees into the system using add new employee, uploading the mass users into the system, exporting employee data on a mass into the system from the system, resetting the user passwords, working on welcome mails. So whenever a new employee joins, if you want to trigger a welcome mail with his login ID, password details, and access their data for accessing SuccessFactors, all that, to send welcome user mail, all that will be helpful, guys. Okay, and now moving on to the next thing is, yeah, just 2 more minutes I'll take here also on the settings part. So already I told you in the previous sessions, but again repeating, in the instance side, every time on the right hand top corner, the current logged in user name comes up. When you click on it, you have settings option, where settings will help you to take care of your own profile related few things. Like if you want to change your own password, or start page is something like whenever you log in into SuccessFactors for the first time, what screen you want to see. So you want to every time have the SF opened with home page or with goals page or performance page, like that you can choose what should be your first page to be displayed. And then when it comes to languages, here you have a change language option where end user can choose whichever language he wants to see the system in. He wants to use whether in English or in French or in Arabic or Korean, they can choose, and then they can just click on switch such that the system gets auto translated into that target language automatically. Okay, the standard areas get auto translated. Anything that we have created during our configurations, customizations, we have to translate manually, like that. And then you also have the option to have your mobile app downloaded, guys. Standard SuccessFactors also comes up with Android and Apple based mobile apps, so you can download them from this Google Play and App Store links. Once you download, if you have to log in, you just have to click on activate with camera. So in your mobile, you just have to scan this QR code from the SuccessFactors app. Once you download the SuccessFactors app, there will be a login with QR code option. So if you scan this, so in your login, if you scan it, your ID with what you log in. So tomorrow, if I give you one ID, so with which ID you log in, go to the settings, and there if you scan this code from your SuccessFactors mobile app in your mobile, this login ID will start appearing in your inbox. Okay, sorry, in your mobile app. Okay, so that's the easy way to log in without entering some ID, password, all that. In front of you, if you are already having the desktop system logged in with the same user, you can just scan this QR code within 30 seconds. Okay, so this is how you have the few features at the end user level that he can handle in his own page, like password, start page, change languages, this mobile options, all this. And then one more small good to have feature also to be introduced is proxy, guys. So this proxy feature is something that will be given only to the administrators. Only the consultants and the administrators will have this. A normal user or a manager or a HOD, anyone will not have the proxy access. Administrators who are handling the config side of the system and the consultants who actually configure the product, they only will have this proxy. So proxy feature is all about you getting an access to log in into any other's profile. Just start searching for any employee name, select their name in the list, and you click on OK. Now the system will open up as if that employee opened with his ID and password. It shows all his data, that employee's data. So now I just proxied in the name of Alex. So now Mr. Alex profile is opened up. His login, his to-do list, whatever data you see here, his team information, all this belongs to that Alex. So if I go under this and if I select any module here under goals, performance, career development, anywhere, it shows that employee's data. It's not the original user. The proxy user Alex data shows up. It's not Anya Singh's data anymore. It is Alex data. So this is an option where whenever admins had a priority cases of closing some approvals from the employee's login, where that employee is on a sick leave or is on a client travel or is on a business visit, anything. So where he can't access the system, on behalf of that employee, if the administrator has to close something on an emergency, they can use this proxy feature, come into that employee's login and clear the approvals or some data entries, anything that they have to do, and they'll go back by clicking on become self. So clicking on become self, the system will again reload as Anya Singh as usual. So in between that, whatever this person does will be recorded as in the log as Anya Singh on behalf of Alex. Last modified by Anya on behalf of Alex. Created by Anya on behalf of Alex. Deleted by Anya on behalf of Alex. Like that, whether they edit, create, delete anything, clearly mentions Anya on behalf of Alex, guys. Okay. So even after 5 years, 10 years, whenever you take out a log report, it clearly mentions that it's not Alex or it's not Anya directly done. It's Anya coming into proxy of Alex, she has done. Like that, you'll have that clear message. So this is the proxy feature where whenever you're done with that purpose, you can come back to your own login by clicking on become self. So in the demo system that is going to be given to you guys also, you will have this particular proxy feature enabled for all of you so that you can also use it. So that is mostly useful when you're practicing some workflows, guys. Some workflows like employee raised a request, manager approved, second level manager approved, then it went to HR. Like that, if you have to look at any flows of workflows, instead of logging out and logging in into multiple users every time, you can just switch the login into different user, go to that user, clear the workflow, and come back as become self. Like that. So that is how the proxy feature actually functions. All clear? Any questions here, guys? Here?
Yeah, Suresh, actually, can we also proxy this in LMS, in Learning Management System?
LMS proxy feature. I just have to check it, guys. I'll just check with some LMS expert. I'm actually not aware of it.
Okay,
So,
okay.
all the modules of SuccessFactors are in actually are on the same platform except learning. Learning goes into
Yeah,
it. It's a kind of one more system integrated with SuccessFactors. It is a
right.
platform Plateau systems that got integrated into SuccessFactors. Whether this proxy feature is supported or not, I'll just check and come back. Okay.
Okay, okay. And one thing I have to ask, Suresh, actually, before some time in my company, I used to work on in the admin center in manage user option. Now the manage user option by the administrator, they completely disable that. Do you know how they did that, or how we can enable that in the system?
Okay. Did your company implement Employee Central now?
Sorry.
Did your company implement Employee Central now?
Yeah, they are about to roll out. I think maybe coming next week.
Okay. So basically, a non-EC system that manage user options will be there. In a EC system that manage user will no more present. Okay, that is one
Okay,
thing. Employee Central
okay,
is not implemented yet. You should be having it. If it is not appearing, that will be based on the permissions. So in the coming week, we'll see the concept of permissions, role-based permissions. There,
okay,
manage users, there will be a concept. Just a checkbox that you have to activate. In that, through which role you get the permissions, you have to first find that role. In that role, you have to select the checkbox. Okay.
okay, okay. Thanks.
Okay. So
Yeah, Suresh, a small doubt from my end.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
in employee file or generally like in SF system, we can all the employee details are viewed by everyone, right? Like right from their name to the designation and salary, everything. Is it like some of the data will be confidential, right? Is it customized as per customer requirement, or like the data can be viewed by anyone?
No. Totally driven through permissions. Which sections of my profile should be visible to you is driven through permissions. What an employee has to see on his own profile, what he has to see on his subordinates, on his managers, on his peers, or when he looks at a CEO profile, what content he should be seen, all that are driven through permissions. So upper hierarchy, what all sections I can see, to a lower hierarchy, what I can see on my profile, what I can see is totally driven through permissions. Okay. So when I look at my profile, my salary will be visible. But when I look at my colleagues' peers' profile, definitely salary information, dependents informations, all that will be hidden.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
controlled by admin, right? So
Yeah, initially we set all the permission rules. That's it. They need not touch all that. we as a part of configuration, while setting up the permissions, will take all this requirement gathering with the customer, which sections to be visible to whom and all. Accordingly, we give all the permission roles. So that stays constant. Normally, employer, no admins will never touch all those things.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah.
Yeah, Suresh, one small doubt. As you said in the proxy, can the other department manager or the same level manager can get into the other managers, subordinates, and change their data, or do some kind of approvals
Proxy,
or something like that?
yeah, proxy will be every time confined at the administrators level only. Okay, no one will offer it to any employees, even a HOD also they don't offer it. It's only purely at the admins. Okay, it's
Okay.
not for normal users because it has all its privacy issues. Okay, so
No,
normally no.
what I mean is both the managers are at the same level. They are admins, but they are of different departments. Say like one is into the finance department and some other into the HR department. So
That's what if they are an admin that can be given. That totally depends upon the company's decision whether to give or not. If they are an admins, they'll be giving it. If they have the responsibility of clearing some work items in the company, making the system flow properly, taking out the reports about the entire organizational progress, anything they'll be given. There, when you give the proxy permission to a user also, what is the target population that they can access is also defined. Not
okay.
only this permission, any permission. Say if I say I can access the salary information. So whether I can access only my data or my team data, my department data, my location data, that is the target population that will be chosen. So when we are defining the permissions, it will ask you for whom you are going to give the permission and on whom they can use this permission. I give the permission for 10 users, they can use it on 100 users. That means these 10 people can see 100 employees HR, 100 employees salary data. Like that, every permission will have the target population. Either you define with the number of employees or based on a department, based on a location, is up to the customer. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the next week, anyway, we have that dedicated session on the role-based permissions. So we'll definitely look into that then. And now I have to open day one activities. Just a moment, guys. The presentation is opening up. Yeah. So now I just gave you guys an idea of how the success factor systems look like, the high level navigations, all that. Now moving on to the day one activity. Now we are starting with our training. You're done with your training. You got certified and you got a job on success factors and you're allocated to the first project in success factors 6. Then right from the day one, what you're supposed to do is that first you have to gain the customer system access. You should be getting the customer system access, then only you can start any configurations, activations, anything. So for that, whenever your company says that you are allocated to some XYZ project, you have to get in touch with the customer side project management team and acquire an approval mail from them. You should get an approval mail from them, where in the mail you have to clearly mention that I so and so have been nominated for the success factors implementation of your company through IBM, through Wipro something. So I request you to please approve my please approve this mail to gain your system access. Like that, there will be one template mail that every company follows. We just have to drop it to the customer. Also requesting the customer ID. So every customer will be given with one ID, guys. A unique ID for every customer will be given regarding their project account. So that has to be taken, where that is actually shared by SAP to the customer. So customer has to share it to us. When customer paid the license cost to SAP, SAP will give that. Along with that, in around 12 to 15 data centers across the globe. So as I told you, we have around 12 to 15 data centers across the globe. So in which data center is this customer server hosted? SAP also has to say that to the customer. So customer has to tell us that data. So whether it is in Australia data center or in South Africa data center or in Saudi Arabia data center, they have to tell us that. So based on that, we can have the data center detail and the customer ID details also given by the customer side project management along with the approval. So once we collect this from the customer side team, we can raise a request to official SAP in this website called as HCM Cloud Operations Portal. HCM Cloud Operations Portal, and this is the URL of it, hcmcloudops.successfactors.com. So once you go into this site, you will have one form that you have to fill where you have to upload the approval mail what you got from your customer side manager. You have to approve that, you have to upload that attachment and fill the form with a lot of details. And if you submit it, max within 5 business days, you will be granted with a customer system access. So initial days it used to be 3 to 5, 3, 4, 5 days it used to take, but these days they are also giving in like 4, 5 hours also. But 5 is the maximum capping, 5 business days is the maximum capping. Okay, so this is how first you have to do your customer system request access request process. Where now I'll also showcase you a document with all the screenshots of this website, how that website looks like, where do you navigate, what all fields you have to fill in that application and all. We'll just look into that. Just a moment, guys. Any questions in the meanwhile? So this is the document, guys. So this is a URL that I've shown you, hcmcloudops.successfactors.com. So once you log in into this, of course, to log in into this website, you should be SuccessFactors certified consultant, having some S-user ID that SAP has given to you. So for every S-user, with every S-user ID, you can log in into this, and once you log in the very first home page, you will have this first menu item called as operation request, guys. This one has operation request, the first one. If you click on this operation request, under that again the first one called the request forms, this comes up and you have to click on request forms. So opening the URL, the first menu item, in that again the first one called request forms, you click it. Then in the next screen it shows you BizX provisioning account mapping requests. So even under this again the first one called customer instance access request, we have to click customer instance access request. So every place it is the first one you have to keep clicking. So finally when you click on this third thing, you will be displayed with this screen, which is called customer instance access request form. We simply call it as CAR form. They don't call it as CAR, they call it as CAR. So CAR form they say, where here you have to fill few details about your customer, and then within 5 business days you will be granted with the access. So here you have to give your customer name for whom you are implementing the software, whether it is say Coca-Cola Beverages Limited, Turkish Airlines, Volkswagen Automobiles, like that, whatever is your customer, you have to give that. And here you have to give the estimated go live date. A tentative date can be given here. And here you have to mention the company ID. So I told you when you are writing an approval mail to the customer, you also have to request for the company ID of that project. So that what they have given in the email, you have to maintain it here, and even the data center. So I told we also have to drop a mail with the data center. So even the data center location has to be checked with the customer. So here the drop down of all the 15 data centers will be listed. So whatever the customer project management team told that, you will select that data center here from the drop down. So company ID and the data center will be done. And here you have to maintain the project management, the customer side project manager who given you the approval, his email address here. So the customer side project management team, whoever has given you your approval, that email ID has to be maintained here. And then followed by, if you go to the next screen, here you are required to select the module for which you are requesting the access. To implement ECR, you are asking the access, or for organization, or for recruitment performance, for which module you have to choose that, guys. And make sure you have to choose only those modules for which you are certified. If you choose some other module for which you are not certified, this SF will directly reject your request. And they clearly mention we did not find a valid certification of your selection. Like that, in their database, that will be definitely present in which modules you are certified. So only those areas you should be selecting. So normally it is a best practice for which module you are certified and which module you are implementing, you select only that. So you are also certified in PMGM recruitment. If you for which module you are now going to implement, select only that module better. That way, and of course your name and email address will be auto populated here based on the user credentials through which you are actually logging in. And here you have to choose the region and location of the project, guys. So region is basically the list of continents. So whether the project is in the APAC region or the Middle East MENA region or in the Latin America region, North America region, you have to just choose the continent in the region drop down. Then in the location drop down, all the countries of the region will be displaying, guys. So of that continent, what are all the countries that fall in the continent for SAP business? So all that will be listed. So you have to choose that, and then you have to upload the approval mail what your customer side project manager has given. Here it has to be uploaded, and your certificate as well. So whenever you are qualified on the certification, you'll be given a PDF copy of your certification. So even that PDF copy can be uploaded here. So this is how the HCM Cloud Operations portal looks like with all these details. You just have to fill this form with all these details. Okay, so when you fill this form with all these details, you will have within 5 business days the request, the system access given. Any questions here, guys? So this will be your week one activity. Whenever you are said that you are allocated to a project, in the first week you have to do this. Writing a mail, getting the reply from them, going to the portal and placing the request, and within 5 days you get it. Okay, and so once you get the access, guys, once you get the access, what you do? So first thing what you have to know is the access what you get is to the backend provisioning system of the customer. It is not to the instance. SF will give you the access only to the front end in the backend provisioning system. From the provisioning, we'll have a place to create our front end instance system access. Okay, for every customer, we have backend on the front end systems. So when you raise a request, it is actually the backend system access they give you. From there, you can create your own front-end instance access. So when you get the provisioning system access, guys, for the first time, there are some basic things you have to make sure that are activated in the provisioning. As I already shown you previously, provisioning system is all about various checkboxes. So in the provisioning, so either you are done with the requirement gathering with the customer or not, irrespective of anything, there are some basic activations, basic 4 activations that you have to make sure that you are ready with. And you can create your own admin ID to access the front-end instance system. That is the 5th point. And this, so once these are done, if you are done with the requirement gathering, whenever you are done, then you can continue with the remaining modules, activations of remaining modules. If you are an EC consultant, you deal with EC module activations. If you are a PMGM consultant, you deal with PMGM activations like that. That is the later thing in the step 6. But initially, as soon as you get your system access on the day 1 itself, immediately you are required to check for these basic first 4 points. So these you have to make sure that they are getting activated. So sometimes for few systems they are auto activated, for few systems it's completely blank and you have to activate like that. Okay, so that is called the initial steps to be performed in the provisioning system as soon as you get the access. So let me just open the provisioning screen and show you where do these options actually exist, guys. Just a moment. So as I already mentioned previously, you have to definitely maintain 2 browsers. So one for the instance and other for the provisioning system. It is not, you cannot actually use both the systems in the same browser at a time. If you are using one, if you are logged in the second one, the first one gets logged out automatically. So just log in.
Suresh, a small doubt.
Yeah.
So through provisioning system only, we have to get a instance system access. I mean, system login, or how is it like?
Yeah, initial ID you have to create from the provisioning. From the provisioning, you will create yourself an ID. So the first ID into the instance you will create yourself from the provisioning. Once you create your ID, one ID, later on any other IDs you want to create, any test employees you want to hire in the system, all that will happen in the direct instance system. Only the single first ID you will create in the provisioning. Okay.
Okay. So certification is mandatory when we join a company, right? So through provisioning only then.
Definitely. So
But
companies even ask
few of my friends, like, joined without certification, and like after 6 months or so they have done the certification. How is it possible?
they just keep you as the backend consultant. They don't give you the customer facing roles. You don't get a proper growth until you are certified. You are just confined to a backend, because every customer is clearly advised by SAP whenever they take the license that you are going to get the certified consultants. If any implementation partner is going to implement the project by a non-certified consultant, they can sue them. Okay. And that's the reason SuccessFactors link this provision to only a certified consultant. So because only a certified consultant can raise a request and only they can get the access. So companies take these non-certified guys with less packages, and they invest on, say, main SMEs like 10 consultants who are certified, and few consultants in the background for just for doing the work in the background without any certifications. So only these main people keep traveling to the client places. They take the requirements, they give the requirements to the backend team, and they ask them to configure. They never get a chance to visit the customer place. They cannot interact with the customer and all.
Is it like, they get only the test ID for doing the backend jobs, or like how do they get the IDs? Like,
because in the instance they don't get the provisioning access at all. So the main guy who is the requirement from the customer, he will come to the provisioning. In his ID, he'll make all the required activations and all. As you know, provisioning is all about checkbox activations and all. Whatever to be done for that customer in the provisioning, this guy will close, the main certified guy. Rest of the 85% of the configurations, main logics, workflows, validations, anything to be configured is in the instance system. For instance side, I can create any number of IDs. So I, as a certified consultant, I'll create 2-3 IDs and I'll give it to 2-3 sub juniors who are working in the background without certification.
Okay.
And those IDs they'll keep configuring the system. Okay.
Fine, Suresh. Thank you.
Yeah. So let me just share my screen. This is the provisioning, guys. So whenever you are logged into the provisioning, so this is how the system looks like. Normally, whenever you are granted to your customer system access for the first time, that company with the credential ID, with the URL ID, password, you log in, and that company name will appear here. So first, say the first project is Coca-Cola Beverages Limited. That will appear as a hyperlink. After 4 months or 6 months or 1 year, you are allocated to a second project. Say that is PepsiCo Beverages Limited. So that PepsiCo Beverages Limited name will come up here, like that. So in your login, what are all the different projects that you are part of, actively part of? So if it's an old project that you are already done the live, and if you are no more working on it, that will be removed from here. So if you are parallelly working on some projects, so all that active projects will be shown in your ID here, like that. So once you come into the provisioning, now for which module, which project related work you came here, you will select that company name. So you want to work on Coca-Cola system or PepsiCo system, whatever, you will just click on that project related name, and it takes you into that company specific page. In this page, you will have various options that belongs to multiple modules. But in this initial stage, on the initial week when you got the system access, you will have to look at the company systems page only. Only company settings page is the one that you are required to look at. So here you will click on company settings, and this is a page where almost 1000 plus checkboxes are all present on the screen, guys. Almost 1000 plus checkboxes are all here. So here, when you scroll down from here, the checkboxes start. So among these, the basic activations immediately on your immediate provisioning access granting, you have to take care of these. First thing is activate the language packs. So out of the 40 languages what your customer has requested, there are minimum 3 languages or 4 languages that you have to activate definitely. So say out of 40, some customer will run only on English. Some say we need Chinese English. Some say we need Arabic Chinese English. Whatever they want, we'll go to the provisioning system and there we will activate it. So here, once the checkboxes start, guys, in the initial 10-15 itself, you will have the language packs category as well. Under this, the 40 languages listed, and you are required to choose which languages your customer is actually looking for and activate those checkboxes here. So that is the first activation. So all the 40 languages, even Hindi for India, Arabic for Middle East, Japanese, Chinese, Thai, Hungarian, Portuguese, English, US version, UK version, all these 40 prominent languages are present here, guys. Okay. And then followed by the second thing is profile V12. So this profile is nothing but the page where we saw all the employee data is seen. So the profile where we have multiple blocks of information, this employee file. So that screen is actually nothing but a profile we call. And this current UI of this profile screen is the version 12 screen. So that's why they call it as profile V12. You have to make sure this is activated. Where in the provisioning, if you go guys, only language packs section is somewhere on the top. Once these checkboxes start, language packs is on the top, you will directly identify it. But other things, they might be in any part of the screen. So in this huge scrolling, there might be anywhere. So you cannot remember the location. You have to make sure you are just doing a Control F search here and going there. So you can actually search here in the name of that profile V12. So profile V12, you search it. So here you will find the profile V12, guys. So you have to activate this profile V12. So to have this profile screen with all the employee data, this is important to be activated. That is the second one. And the third one is to activate RBP. RBP is nothing but role-based permissions, guys. Here in SuccessFactors, this concept of role-based permissions through which you actually have to activate permissions process in the SuccessFactors. So this platform has to be activated. So role-based permissions is a very robust permissions platform where field level, screen level, portlet level, functionality level, you can control the access. Okay. So for that as well, in the provisioning system, you just have to go top again and just search for that role-based permissions. So here you have it, role-based permissions. So this is a checkbox that you have to activate. Okay, and then fourth one is attachment storage limit. So attachment storage is that, guys, normally whenever you implement SuccessFactors for a customer, either that customer is having 100 employees or 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, either of it, SF will never bother about the volume of data that you are storing. So definitely if it's 100 employee data or if it is 10,000 employee data, definitely the volume of space will be different. Then those with 10,000 employees will require more space. So their SF will not discuss, they'll not say anything. So electronically, how much data you are going to maintain, how many employee records you are going to enter in the system, they don't bother. But when it comes to any files that you are going to store in the SuccessFactors system, the attachments, the PDF files, Excel files, email files, the Word files, anything that you're going to upload. So that as an attachment that you are loading will have a limit, guys. That is, every customer, either they implement one module of SuccessFactors or all 7 to 10 modules of SuccessFactors, they get 1000 GB. Every customer will get 1000 GB. Either I implement one module or all the 7 to 10 modules, I get 1000 GB from SAP. So that 1000 GB is what that has to be filled with all these attachments. In normal employment records, their promotion records, their transfer records, their personal details, all that what you store electronically, that space is different. But this 1000 GB is specifically for the attachment files that they are loading into SF in various places. So that has a limit, 1000 GB. Where initially SF sets that screen with only 10 GB, guys. Let me just search for that and show you. Here you see, attachment storage allocation. This is the one where it is now currently set with, I guess, 10 GB by default. That is the minimum one. So that just set it with 10 GB and give it. Where this 10 GB will be done within max 5-6 months, the 10 GB might be completed. So it is important that you directly set it to the maximum possible 1000 GB at a time. Because within 6 months, if this 10 GB is completed, customer don't have the access to the provisioning system and they have to again reach out to the support team, all that nuisance. So to avoid that, we can set it to 1000 GB at a time, so that minimum for a period of 3-4 years, they will not get this space exhaustion like that. So that is the attachment storage allocation that you have to set it to 1000 GB at a time. So these are the first 4 important factors that you have to properly make sure that they are set up in the customer system. Then you can start creating your own ID for the front-end instance system. So obviously that ID what we create will become the admin ID, through which we later on carry out all the configurations in the SF system. So create an admin user to access the instance, this thing. So it's nothing but you're here somewhere, you'll have a place for that as well. So here is a section. So admin username, admin password, admin first name, last name, all these details you have to give. And if you click on create admin, the admin ID, the admin user will be created in the front end, guys. So with this name, password, ID, whatever you give, with those details, an ID will be generated in the front end SF system. With that, they can log in into the system. So even if I show you, so my ID with which I am logging in also is similarly created from the provisioning system, where here you will be having this SFI, SF admin is the main ID, where I have set my password and I am able to log in with those credentials every time. So like that, where this is the responsibility of every consultant, guys. Every module consultant is responsible to make sure all these settings are set. Today, I as an EC consultant, I raised a request and they have given an access to me. Similarly, PMGM project, PMGM also is part of the implementation. PMGM consultant also has to raise a request to official SAP to gain the access to the system. So he also has to go and check it. So today, on say Monday, if I get the access, I will make sure all these activations are done. If the PMGM consultant got the access on Tuesday, by the time he go there, he can see all those activations are already in place. But it is important that every consultant goes there and cross checks. Okay. So that is the first activity for any module consultant in the initial week that will be present. Okay. So that is what I just want to concentrate on this session, giving you guys an idea of the initial first week activities. Is that clear, guys? Any questions?
So this doesn't have any quality environment for provisioning, right? So we cannot practice anything on provisioning.
Yeah, so basically provisioning, they don't give, we cannot have a system. It's only certified SuccessFactors consultants can, where every provisioning is tagged with the company IDs. So that we cannot give it. This only is the system that we can give. And of course, provisioning side, it's very basic things like checkbox activations and all. So whatever things to be done in provisioning, I demonstrate in the sessions, but only the instance access will be provided.
Okay. And what is the significance of V12? V12, is it any kind of version or what?
Yeah, version of the UI version. So in 2011 December, when SAP acquired SuccessFactors, it is in version 9. So in the last 9 years, so from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, it came. Almost version 12 came in 2016. Last 4.5 years, there is no new version. So they might come up with again new improvements on the UI next year anytime. Right.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Divya, Madan, Praveen, anyone?
No, Suresh.
No, Suresh.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, Praveen, go ahead. No question? Okay. So basically, you guys should be getting the system access sometime in the weekend, guys. We are already working on the access part. So most probably sometime in the weekend, you will be getting the access. And yesterday we have shared one document, and even once the access is given, I'll also share some few more documents where you can go through the system. Following the document, you can understand the system navigation, all that. Okay, so in our Monday session, same time again, in the next Monday, we'll recap this content, what we actually saw, and we'll look into further topics as well. So slowly we'll get into the config things. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Suresh.
Yeah, great guys. Thank you. Let us connect back same time on Monday. Have a nice weekend. See you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Suresh.
Yes.